I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm here with Sally Hayden. We're going to be talking about your new book and your experiences as well working abroad. I'm a freelancer journalist, covered Africa as well, I believe. So just tell me about yourself a little bit, just quick.
Yeah, sure. So like you said, I'm a journalist from Ireland. I've been reporting for about 9 years now, and working across Africa. Before that, the Middle East as well, and before that, I was based in the UK until 2016. I had a staff job, and then on and off from 2019 or until 2019. But the last 3 years, I've been based in Uganda and in Sierra Leone, and now I'm in Dublin a bit. Where I'm from.
Oh, thank you. I'm so interested, as you can tell, I'm African. That's why when you say
Yeah,
Uganda,
maybe you're from Zimbabwe, right?
yes, I'm from Zimbabwe.
And how long have you been in Glasgow?
Glasgow, 10 years. And let's say the UK is about 21 years now.
Wow. Okay, so much longer than me. You know it much better than me.
Not really. You know what I mean? So I came here as a asylum seeker, still a refugee as well. But I think the question I had this the whole day I was thinking about if you've been in Africa. I don't know, see, every time I'm trying to read the news, there's nothing in Africa being reported about people dying in the sea as such. Like when you read in Europe, they show more, yeah, people are dying on the sea. But in Africa, it seems like the government, the African leaders, they don't actually do anything to stop this happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit complex, isn't it? Because, well, first of all, as you know, you have African leaders that are creating this situation.
Sorry.
That mean that people have to flee, like particularly in terms of dictatorships, oppression, in various countries, persecution of different groups, and then obviously there's countries that are facing wars, so people are fleeing from conflict. And my reporting particularly has focused on the reaction of the European Union. So what is happening, which I don't know, I don't know how much awareness there is of this in a lot of countries that I've reported on across Africa, that the EU is now spending billions of euro effectively to try and stop migration. But a lot of the allegations by critics are that that money is going towards propping up systems of oppression, dictatorships who are empowering leaders that, are problematic, who are then oppressing their citizens further. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously a very broad question, and Africa is a huge continent, so there's different situations in every country, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to hear what you think as well.
I live in Europe for so long now. I've seen lots of promises from the governments and stuff like that, and hatred as well from the public and for refugees and sort of stuff. In that case, for hatred, I think it's a lack of knowledge from the people. Don't know, like they've never been told. The UK government, for example, always talk about asylum seeker refugees during the election so they can gain the votes, but that message is wrong actually. The other thing, yeah, since I live in UK, it's quite complex for me. Like every year there's a different story and stuff like that. Like for me, I think the question now is, I don't know if you know the new proposal from the Home Office saying it's going to send people to Rwanda, which means I'm really upset with that, because if I don't speak English, if I speak Arabic and send it to Africa in a different culture as well and religion, it's too much for them to take, why there if someone's already here? So
yeah, and two of the sources in my book, actually, I was talking to a friend of one of them today, who was saying that, so two of them have arrived this year, which means that they're at risk of now being sent to Rwanda as well. And between them, I think both of them have been on the move for like between 5 and 7 years, and a lot of that time has involved detention, torture, being captured by smugglers, and finally they just got here in the last few months, and now again they're completely terrified. They're in hotels waiting to hear whether they will be sent to Rwanda, and like people always ask me what to do, and there isn't an answer because we don't know how this is going to turn out. I mean, I can't advise anyway because I'm a journalist, but like they're saying, will I be sent to Rwanda? I don't know, maybe not, but maybe no one will be sent to Rwanda, but what it's doing is mentally torturing people, isn't it? And at every point after they think they've reached safety, there seems to be a new hurdle that means that you once again don't feel safe and secure. And yeah, that's like they were saying, people are escaping the hotels now. They're just going to live undocumented so that they're not taken by this policy. But I mean, the one friend of one of the guys who I was just speaking to there, he was worried about suicide. He said that this is like a big fear, that this is just too much mentally for people. So I don't know, it is a form of torture, isn't it, to have this uncertainty?
Yeah, it is. I'm a lived experience person. I've been in detention myself like 6 months. It's really bad. It's like kind of like you don't know what the next day is gonna be, what's gonna happen and stuff like that. But it's only me saying this. I'm not saying everybody's like me. I switched my mind that time. I'm like, I know this is a political game. They're trying to get to my mind. They know they can't do it. So you try to find a way how to survive and stuff like that. But moving to a different country, to Africa, for example, where people are flying away. And yeah, I think, again, for me, I don't know, as I said, I'm not an expert, but I got this feeling it's not going to work, because what about if they lose the election, the Tories? Would any party like Labour carry on that deal? I don't think so. So let's have hope on that. But I think the last question will be like, oh yeah, where are you going from here? And what advice can you give people like myself doing the freelance podcast and collecting stories and share my own story as well?
Yeah, I mean, where am I going from here? I don't know, to be honest. This book was like nearly 4 years work, and I'm feeling very, I just want people to pay attention to the topic, not even the book, but the topic. And so I'm trying to do now what I can to help share that message or that information. But I'm also thinking, this is just me personally, my feelings, that I would like to help people. Like I feel uncomfortable at the same stage that I'm doing all these interviews, and I'm like a white privileged person who's from a country where I have a good passport, you know, that I can travel so much. And I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like I want, like there's one guy in the book who actually now is trying to write his own book. And so we're doing an event together in Sweden next week, and he's gonna hopefully find some good contacts at a journalism conference, and maybe he can find contacts to help him also begin to write. And I mean, he's writing, but you know, to get that published. And for me, I feel like partially like I want to keep talking about the topic, but also I need to take like a little step back maybe to help other people speak for themselves, you know, rather than being the one talking for people, if they want to do that. Not everyone wants to do that. I don't know, I mean, I think that you're doing this podcast is cool. I don't know if you have thoughts about that in terms of like what more could be done to help. Because also I think this is a problem, right, with the media, that it's very wise, it's very like one group of people are creating a lot of the media, and it's great to have people like you who are also doing it. And I don't know if you've thought about how.
Yeah, of course. I think for me, I started during the lockdown because I thought, and I volunteered in so many projects in Glasgow, and I noticed that some of us who don't have families to talk to. So in the lockdown, I thought, okay, let's do a Zoom podcast. Wasn't a podcast such, but then I signed up, and then I thought I was talking to 3 people. Then 20 people came. I was like, no, this is not a podcast. This is. Then I started, and then I get some sponsors and people really like it. So that's why but I'm the same that I think the more people listen to us, the way we talk now and stuff is encouraging them to do the same. And like in your book, I think there's so many good things that people really they can show. Yeah, for me, I think the best point would be like to see refugees and asylum seekers producing their own books.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been told, tell me your story, but you never tell us your story. I'm not talking about you, I'm just like in general, the public.
But that's the problem. For me, the reporting was done when people were still in a dangerous place, you know, so they weren't in a position where they could necessarily tell that story themselves, because it was so dangerous for them. Like, they were in the detention centers at the time. But now that more people are, I really hope they'll create podcasts or films or books or anything, and also yeah, people like you will also elevate their voices. I mean, that's great. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Okay, cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you, sorry guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I welcome everyone.